Most missing persons cases stall out because the trail goes cold and the physical evidence dries up. But occasionally, investigators run into the opposite problem, a case that generates a massive, overwhelming amount of evidence. In July 2010, an endangered missing persons report was filed in the small rural community of Gravel Switch, Kentucky. What started as a search for a young mother quickly spiraled, accidentally tearing the lid off a sprawling, violent criminal enterprise operating right under the town's nose. The search for this single missing woman triggered property excavations, exposed long-dormant arson plots, and ultimately helped secure an assassination-style murder conviction. Yet the woman herself has never been found. When a disappearance happens adjacent to a highly complex, deeply entrenched crime syndicate, the sheer volume of surrounding criminal evidence can act as a smokescreen. The noise of the syndicate buries the original victim. That victim is Kara Denora Rigdon. In 2010, Kara was a 26-year-old mother of 2 young children living in Marion County. By all accounts, she lived an ordinary life, holding down a steady job and navigating the quiet routines of a rural community. To help identify her, investigators logged a set of highly specific physical markers. The most prominent is a permanent Harley-Davidson logo tattooed directly on her left ring finger. She also has a large cross surrounded by the words West Coast Choppers and the initials ADT inked onto her right ankle. These permanent, heavily inked identifiers stand in strict opposition to the reality of her case. A person with such distinct, enduring physical markers vanished overnight, leaving absolutely no trace in the physical world. The timeline of Kara's disappearance is incredibly narrow. She was last seen driving down Beech Fork Road on July 17, 2010. She told an acquaintance she was leaving to meet a friend and planned to be back in a few hours. The final confirmed proof of life came at 2 o'clock the next morning. Kara called her mother, stating she would be home shortly. After that call disconnected, no one heard from her again, and she failed to report to work later that morning. 1 week later, investigators located her primary mode of transport. Her silver 2009 Pontiac G6 was abandoned on the westbound Bluegrass Parkway. The state of the car immediately raised red flags. The windows were rolled down, the engine had a 3/4 tank of gas, and crime scene technicians found absolutely zero signs of a physical struggle inside the cabin. An abandoned vehicle in this pristine condition points directly to a highly coordinated, immediate extraction. Whoever intercepted Kara did so efficiently, leaving investigators with almost zero physical evidence to reconstruct her final moments. Realizing the suspicious nature of the abandoned car, the Kentucky State Police escalated their response. They knew this wasn't a routine missing persons file. The search immediately tightened on the people closest to her. Authorities brought in heavy equipment to physically excavate a property on Sulphur Springs Road. That land belonged to Joey Rigdon, Kara's father-in-law. Kara had married into the Rigdon family network, a group well known to local law enforcement. Her recently estranged husband Bobby, his twin brother Billy, his father Joey, and his sister-in-law Wendy all had extensive prior encounters with the police. That physical excavation on Sulphur Springs Road marked a permanent pivot in the case. The effort to find a missing mother accidentally became the catalyst for tearing apart a deeply entrenched rural crime family. This is a network map tracking the massive wave of arrests that hit the Rigdon family roughly 2 months into the search. Detectives had uncovered a sprawling web of criminality running through Kara's entire extended family. Joey Rigdon was hit with highly violent charges, including attempted murder, first-degree arson, and possession of destructive devices, all tied back to a previously unsolved 2004 trailer explosion. The rest of the family fell right behind him. Bobby was charged with criminal possession of a forged instrument and tagged as a persistent felony offender. Wendy was arrested for intimidating a witness, and Billy for possession of stolen property. Then the violence escalated even further. In 2012, Kara's estranged husband Bobby was convicted of an assassination-style murder. He executed a man at the direct instruction of a local motorcycle club president. This exposes the terrifying reality of Kara's daily life. She disappeared while she was surrounded by an organized syndicate, fully capable of bombings, witness intimidation, and contract murder. Today, the violent network surrounding the Rigdon family has been completely dismantled. Bobby is serving a 38-year prison sentence, and the family's extensive list of crimes is a matter of heavy public record. But despite mapping out an entire criminal underworld, investigators are left with a glaring failure. Over 15 years later, absolutely no trace of Kara has ever been found, and no one has been charged with her disappearance. This case highlights how a surplus of evidence can actually work against a victim. Investigators compiled a massive paper trail of secondary convictions, but the volume of that information eventually buried the search for Kara itself. Kara remains listed as an endangered missing person in NamUs, the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, a federal database for missing persons tracking, under case number MP9733. The Kentucky State Police consider this a dormant file, waiting entirely on a final crucial tip from the public. When a disappearance is overshadowed by a massive history of systemic violence, the victim can easily get lost in the dark. The only way to pull Kara Denora Rigdon back from the shadows and secure final accountability is through relentless public vigilance.